All right, good evening. My name is Jason Meyer. I'm a member of your Mizzou Alumni Association staff and pleased to have you joining us tonight for a discussion about the Columns and Capstone program. Excited to share some best practices and ways that you can maximize the reward and recognition program that's offered to regional alumni chapters. We'll be spending about 30 minutes slotted for the webinar tonight. Please feel free to engage in questions. You can post them in the chat box and we'll get to them as we go through tonight's webinar. The webinar will also be recorded for sharing with fellow volunteers that weren't able to join us tonight. So please feel free that you can share this with other volunteers who might find the content useful. Again, my name is Jason Meyer. I'm a member of the Alumni Engagement Team and along with 3 other colleagues work with our Alumni Chapter Network and other programs of the Alumni Association that focus on talents of volunteers who serve Mizzou in various capacities. Really excited to have you this evening, and first want to start off by thanking you for your time this evening, but also the generosity of your service to Mizzou through all the things that you do to be an ambassador for the University of Missouri. We appreciate and want to celebrate that service, and hopefully we can find ways to engage and provide enhanced support to what you do to serve Mizzou. Wanted to talk a little bit about the chapter network, and we are pretty proud of the Mizzou chapter network. It boasts over 1,000 individual volunteers who serve in the capacities as you do to provide support to connect alumni in the communities in which they live. Over 100 chapters have been chartered around the world, and the Columns program specifically is a reward and recognition program that positions the strongest and most robust chapters for additional support and success. You are, as a collection of alumni chapters, the largest supporter of scholarships to Mizzou, provide more philanthropy in the form of scholarship than any other entity to the University of Missouri. And you're our first line of support when it comes to asking for volunteer initiatives, whether it's recruiting students or providing legislative advocacy or service in local communities and connecting with local students. We count on you first and foremost to support the Mizzou family. And you're also the primary way that alumni stay connected to Mizzou and the face of the university in communities really around the world. Just for some context, the Columns program is a award-winning program from the Council for Advancement and Support of Education. It's been recognized twice for its ability to connect and support alumni in thoughtful ways. It grew, I guess we're in about our 20th year of the program, or almost the 20th year. It was created as part of the 1999 strategic plan, the first strategic plan for the Mizzou Alumni Association. And it is an elective program. Not all chapters choose to participate. It tends to be our more active and larger markets and markets with that benefit from strong volunteer leadership. Based on our fiscal year, July 1 through June 30th. And in this past year, we had 37 groups who were recognized at the highest levels of the Columns program. So with that, let's go ahead and hop in and talk about the program itself. We talked about the overall Columns program, but it really has 2 levels, the Columns level and the Capstone level. So beginning our discussion with the Columns activities, groups that complete everything in the Columns level receive a $1,000 scholarship to award to a local student, as well as an activity allocation that is based on the formula of $3 per association member. And groups can use that as seed money to support engagement opportunities, to reimburse expenses, or subsidize events and activities, or to help with other efforts they might do to provide other support for the organization. And while that's the reward, there are a number of activities that provide kind of the foundation of what it takes to earn that recognition at Columns status. The first is what we would call a service request. It includes providing annual completion of a financial form, providing a roster of volunteers on an annual basis, and also sharing just some annual goals for the local alumni chapter. And this helps your staff liaison plan their support and ways that we can work together to support your efforts locally. All those things can be supported or submitted online. We also ask that the group assist us with some outcome reporting. This largely relates to event attendees. We'd like to know the number and when possible who attends events so we can help you invite those people back or assist you in recruiting them to be members of the association and therefore your local alumni chapter, but just to work together on some annual stuff that we'd like for you to feedback to us so we can help you in the work that you do to support Mizzou. We also want to participate from a staff perspective in a board meeting on an annual basis, and it can be of your choosing. Sometimes it has to be done over the phone. We'd love for enough planning and organization to take place that we could join you in person. Of course, that's not always possible, but the main thing is to keep an opportunity that we can participate with a full board and all volunteers involved in the chapter. So we have a dialogue about ways that the association can support you and provide an update from campus. We also ask that groups add a new volunteer on an annual basis, and just recognition that providing for the continuation and continuum of volunteer leadership means continually bring new ideas and therefore new people into the volunteer roles with an alumni chapter. We also would love you to send someone to Leaders Weekend. This is an annual program that takes place on campus in September each year around the football weekend. It's a Friday programming filled with training and opportunities to share with other volunteers who serve in similar capacities from across the country and learn and share best practices and also celebrate outstanding volunteerism through our Volunteer of the Year Awards program. For chapters that are outside of Missouri, there's some subsidy provided to help support some of the travel aspect of getting back to Columbia. But it's a great opportunity to connect back on campus and to be connected to a broader network of volunteers that you serve with. We also ask organizations in the striving for the commons level to submit an award nomination for an association award program. It could be our legislative, our Griffith Leadership Society, Faculty Alumni Awards, our Volunteer of the Year, but want to celebrate the impact of the Mizzou network by using and utilizing association award programs. I'd like for you to host an alumni engagement event, and this is probably a category that is most broad in its definition. It's really can be anything where Mizzou alumni connect with one another. It can include things like receptions or dinners or socials or golf tournaments or picnics, wine tastings, and many things in between, but an actual event where alumni get together to connect with the Mizzou family. We'd also like to host a student engagement event or activity, and this would be really something that engages either current or prospective students. It could be a send-off, which is probably the event we love the most. This is an opportunity for you to connect with students who are Mizzou bound from your local area before they join us on campus, typically in July or August. It could be providing kits or encouragement of some form for students from your area that they actually pick up here on campus, or arranging for visits from a group from your area, or assisting in missions with a recruitment activity. Could also be completing congrats notes for the students from your area to congratulate them on their admission to Mizzou and offer an opportunity for them to connect to local alumni. So your staff liaison can help you develop strategies and events or activities that work best for your chapter, but really want to think about ways that local alumni can engage in supporting current and/or prospective students. We'd also like you to maintain a local social media presence. We'll maintain web page for you, but would ask that the chapter maintain a marketing channel via social media and have some best practices that can assist you in doing that. And that you also host an activity or celebration of a Mizzou tradition. Examples could include homecoming socials or happy hours, or a founder celebration event, or a blood drive. connected to a service project. Generally, athletic watch parties don't count in this category, but it's something that celebrates the uniqueness of a Mizzou tradition and gets alumni together to do that. Finally, membership is an aspect of the columns level achievement, and it's while all other aspects are the same regardless of size, this is has some stratifications based off of the size of regional alumni chapters. Our smallest chapters, which make up the most of our alumni chapters who have 2,500 or fewer graduates, need to earn 5 points on an annual basis. Our middle category need to earn 10 points, and our largest chapters, which are really St. Louis, Kansas City, and Boone County, have to earn 25 points on an annual basis. And points are earned by recruiting a new or annual member, or by giving a life membership, either new life membership or someone who upgrades to life from an annual category. And your staff liaison can work through and provide resources to assist you with this. But it's an important way that we help with the lifeblood of the association and provide for the programming that is foundational to the support that we provide. Doing all of those things on an annual basis will earn the chapter the columns designation along with a scholarship and the allocated support money. At the next level is the capstone level achievement, and at this stage it requires all of the stuff that we just talked about at the columns level, plus some additional activities that we'll review. The recognition for that is that the scholarship is actually a $4,000 scholarship, and then the formula funding is $4 per association member. In this category, it is has levels focused on the size of groups. 6 activities are required for most alumni chapters. Our middle category requires 10 activities, and then our largest category requires 16 activities. One thing to note is that as we review these activities, some of them many groups might do many times over, but as far as they count or can be credited in the capstone program, each type of activity can only be credited a total of 2 times. So let's begin and kind of take a look at those. One type of activity that can earn capstone credit is a networking activity. This is something that really includes an announced and specific opportunity to network or connect for professional development. Lots of things can fit into this category. It could be networking or career development seminars or speed networking events, but a purposeful, planned, facilitated opportunity to network and connect with fellow Tigers. A legislative activity is something that is done in collaboration with the Mizzou Legislative Network to provide legislative support to Mizzou. These could be things like engaging a local elected official in a board meeting or social or more complex events like legislative forums, but focus on the advocacy that is supportive of Mizzou and its legislative platform. A community service activity is exactly that, is a service project or activity or an initiative to support the local community, but you do so in spirit and celebration of Mizzou. It could be a food drive or community cleanup or group participation in a charitable event. Academic themed events focus on a topic that can include a speaker or a discussion, perhaps visiting a museum, or but work with an academic themed topic. An event for a target population, are being thoughtful about a elements or population that you'd like to have engaged more in your organization. Could be young alumni or veterans, and then you plan an event or an activity to attract that group. And one popular event that fits in this category is recognizing graduates who graduated 50 years or more ago. And we can assist with some special materials and identifying those individuals and celebrating them to connect with one another at an event or activity or social or brunch. Student activity is actually a repeated activity from the comms level that we talked about at the beginning. Again, an activity that engages current or prospective students. You got to do one activity at the columns level, and then you can do up to 2 additional student engagement activities that would earn additional credits at the capstone level. Same thing is true here for the alumni engagement events. Again, 1 credit is needed at the columns level, and then you can receive up to 2 additional credits. And again, finally, the same thing is true for a Mizzou tradition or an event or activity that celebrates a Mizzou tradition. Watch parties are also credited or recognized. Again, only up to 2 times. You may have more watch parties hosted on a fiscal year basis, but up to 2 of them can count towards the minimum number needed in the capstone tracking thresholds. An event to support Mizzou athletics is a special opportunity where Mizzou athletics is hosting, it could be a speaker or a coach or someone from Mizzou athletics, could be group attendance at a Mizzou athletic event or hosting a pregame activity prior to an athletic event. Newsletters are ways to keep your alumni connected, not just about events, but about people and happenings and initiatives of your local alumni chapter. Your liaison can assist you in the distribution of these communication, but that we would work together collaboratively to develop the content to feature a student or an alumni business, or tell the story of the impact of an alumni scholarship, and share that news that can be credited up to 2 times per year. Activities that promote MU or the chapter publicly can also be recognized. This could be an ad or a story that's promoted in a local newspaper or on the radio or perhaps even television, where the university is recognized and celebrated through the initiative of something that the chapter assisted or helped to accomplish. Local award programs are also recognized as capstone activities. This could be celebrating an alum locally or a student perhaps, and presenting them and recognizing them with an award at the local level. And collaborating with an MU school or college is also recognized here. This could be co-hosting an event with an academic unit on campus and working together to promote and host that event. Finally, you'll recall that in the columns level, 1 award nomination is needed. If additional award nominations are submitted on behalf of the chapter, then those nominations can be credited and earned for additional credit. So that's the capstone level. Groups that achieve the designated amount based on their size at the capstone level activity earn the $4,000 scholarship and a activity fund of $4 per association member. So that's it in a nutshell. That's the Columns and Capstone program. Let's see if there's any questions in the chat. I think one thing that we were looking at here is kind of explaining the difference between an event and an activity, or kind of what constitutes an event. And really what we're looking for here is an event that doesn't have to invite or involve all alumni within your constituency, but that we promoted it publicly to your targeted audience. So you might have a young alumni event or event for the 50-year graduates, or you may work with the Mizzou Black Alumni Network to co-host an event, but that we publicly promote an event, that you work in advance coordination with your staff liaisons to make it aware. I'm trying to think of things that wouldn't be events. I mean, just hosting a board meeting or something that is a closed activity, or something that happened that a board member took initiative to host or execute an activity, generally is not going to count as an event. But anytime there's a question like that, work with your staff liaison. But largely what we're looking for there is something that we promoted publicly and invited broad participation in. Another good question here is, can I count an activity in more than one category? And that's kind of a nuanced answer here, is that generally the answer is no. So for instance, if you host a watch party at homecoming, we're going to count that as a watch party. And or if you, I think maybe the difference here is that if you did an activity that takes place at an event, for instance, if you present an award, but you're also doing it at an alumni dinner or reception, well, the alumni dinner or reception counts as an alumni activity, but also the work and effort and that went into recognizing and celebrating an individual to present a local award can also be credited. So a little bit of nuance there, but generally speaking, events count as just one type of event and fit in appropriate categories to correspond. I think that kind of clears out the questions that we had in the chat. Are there, yeah, I think I just get all of them. If there's anything that we can do to assist you with questions you have about the comms program, I would be glad to try to support you. And again, we'll be sharing this webinar, a recorded version of it, so that you can review it or share it with other volunteers who are assisting you in your leadership roles with your respective chapters. And again, I want to thank you for your service and the time and talent that you dedicate to the University of Missouri. So with that, thank you very much and have a great evening.